Yankees, the Red Sox, the Indians, the Astros, and the Mariners. Those are your American League playoff teams.
Right.
That's not going to change. It's which team is going to wind up in the wild card game, and that won't be the Indians because there's no challenger in the American League Central. So you have the Yankees and the Red Sox, and you have the Astros and the Mariners. Out of those four teams, quite possibly all of which will win 100 games, two of those are going to be wild card teams, which is ridiculous, but that's how it is. That's how it is in baseball right now, where I don't want to say teams have embraced tanking, but they certainly have embraced rebuilding. And there are teams that are, especially like the Chicago White Sox
right.
In the American League, San Diego Padres in the National League, that are waiting for their prospects, and they have great prospects, but they are waiting for those prospects to get the experience and to get Major League ready,
right,
and to be the players that carry them into the next decade.
Let's quickly talk about the home run derby. Who do you got against who? Who do you know? How's it work? I forgot. I don't watch it. I liked it when they first did it, but you know what? It reminds me of that black and white show. They had the home run derby years ago, and they re-aired them on ESPN.
Way back when.
It's
back
when
TV
thing.
was in black and white.
Yeah.
We watch TV on our phones. I think we've.
And you see, like Willie Mays, like he's praying that he makes an extra $1,000.
Yeah, because they were doing it so they can make $2,000.
Yeah. So these guys are probably making more than that. So.
You think?
Yeah, probably just a little bit. So,
all right. Well, here's the basics.
Quickly on this, brother.
Each batter has 4 minutes to hit as many home runs as they can per round. They can call a timeout during those 4 minutes. If the second batter in each bracket gets more home runs than the first guy, then the competition immediately stops. Okay. So he doesn't have to. You're not going to. You can wind up with 12 to 11. You're not going to wind up with 20 to 11. All right. So it's once.
You're not allowed to carry your homers over.
No.
And who pitches? Do you choose your pitcher?
You choose your own pitcher. A lot of some guys. Robinson Cano had his father pitching to him. Some guys have their brother. Some guys have a couple of guys have had their high school coach. You know, it's whoever you want, whoever you're most comfortable with, or basically whoever you want to pay tribute to.
Right.
I mean,
they also have to know how to throw it too.
Well, I mean, you figure a high school coach knows how to throw batting practice, so otherwise they're not going to be a coach. But that's a big part of it. If I remember correctly, Todd Frazier a few years ago when he was playing for Cincinnati and he won the home run derby in 2015, I'm pretty sure his brother was pitching to him because that was part of the thing. And in fact, served up the pitch that Todd Frazier hit out as the time expired it was either win the competition or get him to the final. I forget which one
I would
it was.
throw you all meatball pitches.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate
it. No curveballs for me.
And I would crush. Believe me, I would crush. I would mash. All right, so anyway, Jesus Aguilar, which I'm sure is probably a name not a lot of baseball fans know, but he is your number one seed. He is with the Milwaukee Brewers. He has the most home runs of any of the participants in this home run derby. And again, not everybody's in it. He will be facing Rhys Hoskins of the Philadelphia Phillies, who is the 8th seed. And this is all based on how many home runs these guys have. Rhys Hoskins, you probably remember, set the league on fire last year when he came up to from the minor leagues and hit 10 home runs in about 2 weeks. He was just crushing everything. This year had a very slow start to his season. Is starting to come on lately. He's a number 8 seed, so it's going to be Aguilar and Hoskins. Number 2 seed is the hometown favorite, Bryce Harper, and probably the biggest name in this tournament. He, of course, of the Washington Nationals. He will be facing off against Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves. Number 3, Max Muncy, another name that probably a lot of people don't know. He's a utility guy from the Dodgers. He's another guy that's just come out of nowhere this year.
Right.
He's got, I want to say, like 21 home runs in a limited number of at-bats. I'm stunned by what this guy has done this season. But he's your 3 seed. He will be going up against Javier Baez of the Cubs, who is kind of a power hitter, but not known for his power. He's more of a line drive kind of hitter. He's not like a jacked up, muscled up hitter. I mean, he's a contact guy. And then you have Alex Bregman of the Houston Astros, a very high draft pick a few years ago for the Astros, and a big reason why they won the World Series last year. and he will be going up against my own personal dark horse favorite, Kyle Schwarber of the Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
Now, Schwarber is almost a man without a position. He came up as a catcher. He's not much of a defensive player. Anybody who's seen him play left field knows he's not a very good defensive player. There was talk about the Yankees trading for him a year or two ago and making him a DH, and so he could avoid defense altogether. But Kyle Schwarber hits bombs. And he is a guy who I certainly could see winning this thing. I also like Hoskins as a potential underdog, only because, like I said, last year he hit so many home runs in such a short period of time. He's a big guy. He can, when he's not going to need to really crush every pitch to hit home runs. Like Baez is going to need to crush pitches. He's not going to. Right. If he hits line drives, he's going to lose the competition. He might hit the ball the best, but if he hits line drives, they drop in the field and those are outs. So I like Hoskins. I like Schwarber. Those are, I'm not going to say they're going to meet in the final, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of those two wins it. Of course, the other potential thing is Bryce Harper. And does he win at home, being a hometown guy? And does he want? Obviously, he wants to put on a show for the Nationals fans. But
right,
Giancarlo Stanton last year was playing for the Marlins, and the All-Star game was in Miami, and he said that was a distraction because there were so many people pulling at him from different directions, and he said he felt almost like he had to play host because the game was in his stadium.
Well, yeah.
And I'm wondering if Bryce Harper, if that's going to have the same impact on him.
Depends on how many friends he has, I guess.
Bryce Harper's got a lot of friends, especially in D.C. So, that's what you're dealing with. Everybody loves to see how far somebody can hit a ball. And Bryce Harper is a guy who, there's this story of a pretty well-known story about when he was about 16 years old, he hit a 500-foot home run in a high school home run derby. So 16 years old, hit a 500-foot bomb. That's pretty impressive.
Pretty damn good.
So, he's a guy who I'm sure he's going to put on a show. It's just a matter of can he maintain it through 3 rounds.
That's true.
So should be entertaining tonight. We're still waiting to see. In fact, they might have, check out MLB.com right now, brother. We're still waiting to hear who the starters, the starting pitchers will be for the American and National League. The announcement is supposed to be made today. Given our luck with our show, they'll probably make the announcement at 10:01, a minute after we go off the air. But obviously with the National League, you're looking at either Jacob deGrom for the Mets or Max Scherzer of the Washington Nationals. Personally, I think Scherzer's getting the start. It's his ballpark. His numbers are not as good as deGrom's for the most part. Obviously, he's got more wins than deGrom because pretty much everybody does because poor Jacob deGrom can't get any runs from the Mets when he pitches. But I think Scherzer will get the start for the National League just based on the fact that it's Washington's ballpark. I mean, Scherzer's no slouch. I mean, the guy won the Cy Young Award last year. But I think he gets the start. The American League, I'm still saying that Luis Severino should get the start. He deserves a start. Chris Sale of the Red Sox, some people think should get the start. I can't see it. Sale is something like 9-4, 9-5. Severino's 14-2, on his way to a 20-win season. Corey Kluber, I guess, would be a third choice, or Justin Verlander. And you have to remember it's Astros manager A.J. Hinch that's making a decision. So Verlander could.
Quickly, brother.
Yes.
Manny Machado. Where do you think he's going?
He's
on the Orioles. I'm sure he wants out.
I'm hearing Phillies. I'm hearing Brewers. The Brewers have a very deep farm system. And I don't know how much it's going to take because you still, no matter how much, any conversation about Manny Machado comes back to the fact that he's a rental. And whatever you give up, you're giving up for 3 months of him, and you want him to A, get you to the playoffs, and B, to try to help you win a World Series.
So the Mets have no need for him?
No. That's a ridiculous comment.
No, I'm just saying, you don't expect the Mets to make a deal if it's only a 3.
The Mets don't even have a deep enough farm system to get Manny Machado. Let's put it that way. All right? The Yankees were rumored to have made an offer. Apparently the Orioles were holding out for Justice Sheffield, which, as far as I'm concerned, means they're insane. Because Justice Sheffield is not going anywhere, especially for a rental player.
Right.
Maybe if you put Justice Sheffield in a deal for Jacob deGrom, but
that's
other than that, that's not happening. because he is somebody who the Yankees have very high regard for and think of him as a future number 1 or number 2 starter. So he's not going anywhere unless they get something significant in return. But like I said, the Brewers, a lot of pieces, and probably have a need at shortstop or left side of the infield, and could give a decent return to the Orioles and not have it really hurt their farm system too badly. They have a really deep system. The Phillies have done a lot of purchasing in the international free agent market, so they have a lot of young Latin players. I'm not sure if they're as good of a match with the Orioles, but they have been, from what I've read, they have been entering advanced talks. So I'm kind of curious to see who the Phillies would be willing to give up, but that's another possibility. I think it's probably going to be one of those two teams. The Yankees are not getting Manny Machado. They don't need him. I think the only reason they're having conversations with the Orioles is to try to help drive the price up for Machado, so that it'll make it easier for them to get a different player. I mean, that's what you do. You try to get other teams to pay more than they have to for a guy that you don't want in the first place. And Brian Cashman is pretty good at that. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, Manny Machado definitely will be traded by the 31st, and could very well be traded by this week or the end of this week, with baseball taking a break. Now's the time where GMs can actually have conversations and maybe get some things done.
Well, yeah, they party at the All-Star break. They all have hotel rooms set up.
I don't know about how much partying they're doing, but
the old days.
There are conversations being had. Let's put it that way.
And the Mets right now, our sister Suzanne went to the game on Saturday, and the Mets actually won.
Good luck.
So she has not changed her socks. Well, actually, they lost yesterday, so now she can change her socks. But
whatever the sock thing is about.
But that's what players do. Remember, they were they're playing well. They say, well, it's a sock, so they keep wearing the same smelly socks. You never heard that?
No.
I've heard that all the time.
If you say so.
Baseball players are very superstitious. You know that.
Yes, brother.
You've covered them.
Yes,
right?
brother.
So
by the way, Zach Wheeler of the Mets, he could become a Yankee. There's been some rumor around Zach Wheeler.
Could be. I mean,
and Zach Wheeler's pitched pretty well recently.
Right.
He's kind of being sneaky good. I mean, against the Nationals on Saturday, Zach Wheeler went 7 2/3. Probably should have gone 7 1/3 because he gave up a 2-run home run, but pitched pretty well. I mean, he went through six scoreless, and I think had given up like one hit. Got through 7, and then the 8th he ran into trouble. I mean, let's face it. How many pitchers these days go into the 8th inning? So I'm sure you were happy.
I'm always happy.
You're happy to see any pitcher
any player
go
goes past 6 innings.
But that was probably Callaway. Probably the problem with the Mets is that Callaway probably wants to get as many innings out of his starters as he can because his bullpen is just pouring gasoline on everything. Yeah. So,
but this is where
let the starter go.
You know what? This is where I expect a former pitching coach to be leading his relief team and say, "Okay, guys, let's get it going."
If they're garbage, no coaching in the world is going to help Jerry Blevins. He's garbage.
He's on the team.
No pitching coach at this point is going to help Jason Vargas. He's garbage.
Okay, when Benny Agbayani was a Met, who made him a better player?
I don't
Bobby
know.
Valentine.
Oh, stop.
As soon as Valentine left, Benny couldn't play.
Please stop.
I'm just saying, sometimes you can do it, brother. You don't just get to be a Major League Baseball player because, there was just an opening.
Well, here, this I found amusing because I did this I did this a couple of days ago. Our friend of the show, Christy Ackert, tweeted after
New York Daily News Mets beat writer.
After Friday's game, it was Noah Syndergaard got his 5th win on Friday.
Right.
He started 12 games this year. Jacob deGrom has 5 wins also. He started 19 games this year, which is ridiculous.
I agree.
Because Syndergaard's ERA is more than a run more than deGrom. deGrom is like 1.68. Syndergaard is like 2.97, which is a good ERA.
Right.
But it's still. And I tweeted out to Christy. I said, yeah, by the way, Matt Harvey also has 5 wins this year. Yeah, Matt Harvey, brother, 5-3 with a 3.60 ERA for the Cincinnati Reds since the trade.
Don't get me started.
I tell you what, I still do the deal. Mesoraco's been a good catcher for the Mets. I got no
They
problems
needed
with
a
the deal.
thing, and he's working towards his free agency. That's what Matt Harvey's doing right now.
No problem. But I don't want Matt Harvey on the Yankees.
Yeah, I know.
The Reds are talking about trading him.
Last year you did.
Last
year you were preparing.
No.
You were preparing. Yes, you were.
Maybe as a free agent.
Yes, as a free agent. Remember you were